Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to our Low Country, South Carolina project here in the neighborhood of Ion. Today we've got garage doors to show you, beautiful cedar doors that are made to look like the old swing-out doors from the 20s. Also, we're putting in an Anderson snap-in sash Skylight, two of them actually, in the family room. And we'll get together with the folks from Home Automation Incorporated who are going to make this a connected house. Stick around. It's good to have you home again. Well, let's start off with Kevin Kalman, our general contractor. Kevin, how are we doing?
Great, Bob.
Are you on schedule?
We're on schedule.
Approximating, right?
Yeah, we are.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the detailing on the house because it's really coming together very, very nicely. Tell me about that gable end.
Well, we finished out the crown molding and the soffit work the other day. We've got the Weyerhaeuser siding on the side there, and we've got that.
Is that a boarded up window already?
Well, just to look that way. We're going to have some shutters on it at the end of the job, and it'll look like an old window that had been covered over and shuttered up for good.
Interesting little design feature. How about the chimney?
Chimney's complete. We put the chimney pots on the other day before the masons went back, and waiting for the stucco guy to show up. As soon as he shows up, we'll drop that staging.
That's a nice job of staging it. That's the only way to really get up there and do the job safely.
Well, those chimney pots weigh 350 pounds apiece. We needed a good stage.
Yes, exactly. And now the roof is not quite finished, right?
That's correct. We're trying to get the carpenters out of the way for the roofers. We want to get as much of that soffit material on as we can, the crown molding, so that the roofer can come back and then do his job and complete.
But it's nice to see the columns are all in place, and I guess the finishing touch will be when we get the siding completed to really have the look of a finished house.
By the end of next week or the middle of the week after, we'll have the siding complete.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to go around back and check in on those garage doors.
Sounds great.
Let's say hi to Kent Forsland from Designer Doors, Inc. Good morning.
Hello, Bob.
How are you?
Just fine.
Now, this is something that I really admire because for years, builders have always had to just go with the flush doors and the flush doors and that's about it, or the panel doors. But you've kind of started a revolution in terms of making garage doors that look like the old-time ones, right?
We have. Since the 1980s, we started looking at the windows in the home and bringing in the whole concept of complementing the home with the garage doors, tying in service doors, entrance doors, so they all go together.
As well as replicating those old, beautiful doors that used to just open out, that swung out of old garages.
Correct.
Where you had your little Model T. And if you stand back and look at this door, you see right down the middle, it looks like it's double swing doors.
Correct. We were the first ones to come out with that swinging look and feel that that really adds to the authenticity of the product.
Yeah, it really does. Now, there is nobody in the door industry making that type of door that actually swings out, right?
That's correct. That's not a legal automatic operating door.
Right, because there's a lot of safety considerations involved in automatic doors. Well, let's look closely at the hardware and the meat and potatoes of the thing, because these are not hooked up. We're going to be putting garage door openers on them in another week or so once we've put all our drywall up and the ceilings are in place. But tell me a little bit about the features of the door.
Well, in terms of the hardware, the track is supported with an angle mount that is lagged into the jamb. You can see it's a continuous angle that prevents any fingers from getting in behind the track. It is also much stronger than a bracket mount system that is secured by just a few brackets.
What's the gauge of that?
This would be about 11 gauge.
So that this is a nice sturdy angle iron almost, and of course it angles back on the side and is attached to the framing there. What about the track itself?
The track is, again, commercial grade, very heavy duty. All of our hardware is second to none. You can see on the bottom fixture, we put the lap underneath the door so you get a lot of lifting power, because that is what the spring's attached to, is the bracket, and the entire lift of the door is off the bottom of the door. So
it's happening off the bottom of the door, so that's where you want the really sturdy steel. How does the door operate? I mean, how do those big springs work up there?
Well, the springs are wound up on a bar that produce a lift on the cable. It's a little difficult to see the springs because they're above the door, but as the door is going up, the spring is turning releasing the pressure off the cable. So by the time the door gets fully open, the cables are almost slack or relaxed.
What about the door itself?
For weather seal, we use a drip cap that prevents the water from getting in behind where the V-grooves are.
So that this piece cut at an angle allows the water to shed away.
Exactly, and that is integrated right into the door. Another weather product or feature is we put a 10-degree angle on this trim board below the windows.
What about the construction of the door itself? Because we're looking at the beautiful cedar on the outside.
Correct. The door is started with a Douglas fir framework, which is a product that has a lot of sap content and very rigid. Doug fir has been used for many, many years. In fact, we've gone back to doors that are 100 years old, and that is the product that they used, and that's why they lasted.
Yeah, no, it's good, stable wood. And then you've got insulation inside there.
Correct. And we also have a vent hole to allow the condensation that might form inside the framework to allow that to breathe out.
So what kind of an R factor can you expect from one of these garage doors?
Approximately 8 to 10 R factor.
And how about keeping the weather out? I see Russell's got some of the trim pieces for the outside ready to go.
Correct. On the jam boards, which Russell's attaching, there's a weather seal that gets put on. The weather seal bumps up to the door when the door is closed.
All right, so we are dressing out the jambs for each of the doors in cedar that's already been pre-primed, and that's the trim that we're using throughout the entire house.
The weather seal is,
Oh, there you go.
it has the flexible vinyl seal, so when the door comes closed, it pushes against that and prevents rain and, up in our country, snow from entering into the garage. So the weather seal gets
Is that the
attached
header one?
to the jamb.
There you go. Things are nice and plumb here, so we don't have to worry too much about bringing the door down to meet it. Now, what about keeping the weather from coming in the bottom of the door? Is this a weather strip?
Correct. This is a retainer, an aluminum retainer that gets attached to the bottom of the door with stainless steel screws. What installs into the retainer is a butyl rubber gasket that slides into the tracks, creating a seal as the door comes closed. And that seal will then squeeze down and prevent rain or snow from coming under the door.
Right, so it acts like a gasket.
Exactly.
All right, now let me, you got that, Russ? Okay. Let me just take a quick look at these, because I know that you also made the doors for our side openings, and these are 3 feet by 8 feet.
Correct.
And the same thickness and insulating. Now, this, of course, will be hung traditionally with big oversized hinges.
Right.
What's the cost of a door like this?
This would range between $750 to maybe $1,500, depending on the detail in the windows.
And what about the garage door openers? I mean, the garage doors themselves?
The garage doors range in price from about $2,000 on up, depending on how customized.
Thanks, Ann. They're beautiful.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. When we come back, we'll install an Anderson snap-in sash skylight. Stick around. All right, so what we've got here is an opening for essentially a retrofit into a new construction situation, which is not always what you want, but the skylights were not specified by the architect's plans, and so we're putting them in after the fact. And what Russell and Kevin have already done is they started off by stiffening the whole set of rafters here with a couple of temporary 2x4s. And these make sure that the whole rafter system won't shake and rattle when we're cutting the hole out. Then they removed the rafters that were in the way of the skylight, and in their place headed off at the top and at the bottom with doubled up members of the same dimension, and then did the same thing to either side. And at this point we've got a framed opening for the skylight, and the rest of the work really gets done from up here and down there. But let me check in with Kevin to take a closer look at the type of skylight we're using. Here you go. Okay, now the Skylight itself is a new type of Anderson product that has this patented snap-out sash. You got it? I better hold on to it.
Thanks, Bob.
And so it makes installation a lot easier because we can remove the sash and just deal with the frame. I know it's high-performance glass, and so it's got all the energy requirements that we normally worry about. And okay, so the sash snaps out. Exactly how does that happen?
We undo these plastic shipping clips,
Oh, okay.
these little screws,
We have to take 4 of those off.
4 of these. And then that sash is going to pop right off. We'll take the clips out of the sash after we disengage it. You've got the sash, I've got
Yeah.
the frame.
Yeah, and what I like about this is, see the way they've designed this edge? That's where the drywall fits right in flush with that corner. So that makes for a real easy installation afterwards.
Okay. I'm going to flip out these little ears.
And they are for our 4 attachment points onto the roof sheathing.
That's correct. We'll add screws to these other holes when I get all 4 of them out. So we'll have 2 screws in each one of these clips. And when we set it on the roof, these brackets are recessed on the back side, and the screws will fit flush right in there.
Let me pass it on to Russ. You going up on the roof, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so the little brackets each have the extra screw in them on the back side, which makes it rigid. And that's how you attach it to the sheathing itself.
Good, Russell? Ooh, nice.
All right, Russ, you want to pass up the sash? And now the snap-on, what's to keep it from popping out again if there's some sort of high wind or situation?
They've got these stainless steel clips, Bob, here on the inside. When that sash sets down, it's going to snap right into that.
So that holds it in place.
That's correct.
And if it ever broke and you had to replace it from the inside, you could loosen it up.
They've solved that with holes on the inside.
Right, okay.
Sure.
That's it.
Yep.
And now when the roofer comes to finish up here, the kit comes with a top and bottom flashing, as well as with all the step flashings that will go underneath.
That's correct.
But this will be covered by the red metal roof, right?
That's correct. Everything except for just this little bit.
Yeah, the colors look good together, don't they?
Yeah.
Great.
Learn more about installing Skylight windows at bobvila.com.
In the last century, wiring a house meant telephones and electricity, and that was it. But now in the 21st century, it's gotten much more complicated. Tom Morgan is here from
Home Automation Inc.
Home Automation
Yes.
Inc. And that's a lot. It's a concept, but what we're talking about is the ability for a house to control itself not only in terms of lights and in terms of phones, but also in terms of entertainment and security and everything else.
Absolutely.
How does that
Absolutely.
work?
What we do is that we manufacture controllers, and these controllers allow you to take your lighting and your thermostats and your security, as well as your telephone, even the internet today. You can allow all them to seamlessly work together.
To work together.
Yes.
And so that what we are striving for is what I'm calling a connected home. I've heard that term bandied
Correct.
about. And the connected home really means that all of those different technologies are put to work. Let's talk, for example, in terms of security. What will this allow me to do here at bedtime?
Okay. When you go to bed, what we'll be able to do is simply, when you arm your security system, is that we can do such things as turn off lights in the house, as well as give you protection on your windows and doors.
Right.
Set back your thermostat so you're saving energy every single time that you go to bed.
Okay.
And in this house, we're going to do something fun. We're going to make sure that the garage doors go down if they're open.
If they're left open. But this is also the nerve center for the electronics that are coming into the house in terms of the World Wide Web, in terms of compressed signals for video and all of that, right?
Well, actually, what we will be doing is, for the World Wide Web, we actually have an interface that allows the lighting as well as the security to all tie into this one control board, so that this control board gives you the actual control within the home. It is essentially your networking hub throughout the house.
Now the control box I know gets installed. I've got it right here in this closet. And Julian, I think before we go any further, you want to remove that, don't you? Yes, sir. All right, so that we can put it in a safe box and get it away from the dangers of construction. I mean, that's kind of probably one of the more expensive components of the whole thing, right? So I'll make sure that our contractor has that. And Tom, in terms of the actual wiring that's going on, I'm going to talk with John White about that, because they're the contractor on that.
Okay.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, Bob.
John, let's talk about the wires that go into
Sure,
this. Well, here you've got a little array.
Here we have an array of wires that'll be in the be pulled in this house.
What are they? I mean, what's this, for example?
This is a 2-gauge low voltage wiring where we'll run contacts for the security system.
That's for the security system?
That's correct.
That's nothing really new. That's been around for a while.
That's correct, Bob.
Okay.
Here we've got the 4-pair wire. This is also going to do the controls for the keypads and various interfacing devices for the security panel, as well as the home automation.
And what about like temperature controls and stuff?
That's correct.
That's through this as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then this?
Here we've got 4 twisted pair of high-speed data line, Cat5.
Cat5. Now this is the important stuff that you want to put in new construction.
That's right.
Right. And then this one?
This is the quad shielded RG6 coaxial cable, which we'll use for video applications as well as cable modems.
Wow, okay. And then we got this.
This is a 4-pair 16-gauge oxygen-free audio wiring, so that can handle the moisture within the area.
Fabulous. And this is for speakers?
That's correct.
For music. And the last one?
This is just a 2-pair. This would be speakers as well.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go into the family room, for example, and see how it works. I know that this is going to be the entertainment wall.
Correct.
And entertainment today means more than just watching a TV or using a VCR. There's all sorts of new technology that's coming out. Movies are available on different kinds of discs.
Dolby Digital surround sound, that
And
sort of thing.
things are going to come to the house in compressed signals. And what do you do here?
Here we're going to have the coaxial cable, which once again that'll be the video application of it, coming into the house either via satellite or local cable services. And here as well, we're running the Cat5 again, and this is for interactive television for satellite TV, where you might have program ordering that are going to go back out through the Cat5 high-speed data line.
Exactly. So you're communicating back and forth.
Right.
All right. What about the security system in the house? Is that
Over here.
also 21st century, or is that an older technology?
It's kind of, it's evolved. There's some technologies in it right now that have been done for years, where we have the recessed magnetic contacts.
Yeah, that's been around.
That's been around a
That
while.
basically goes through there and down and under the house. But this house is built on a crawl space, and given that it's a crawl space, can't anybody just go there and cut it?
Well, if they did, they'd actually activate the system. The relay would actually fire up the system so that it would initiate the security system if the wire were to be severed.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thanks, John. I can't wait till it's all up and working.
Sure.
More information on wiring your home for the 21st century is available at bobvila.com.
And that's a wrap. Come home again next time. We'll be getting our framing inspection, very important in a house that's supposed to withstand hurricane winds. Also, we'll be going to Middleburg Plantation, which dates back to 1699 and is an early example of Jacobean construction. And an engineered staircase gets installed. Don't miss it. Till next time, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. For lots of information and resources for your home improvement project, check out my website at bobvila.com.